Super Mayhem.
Hello friends, it's Tim here from Super Mayhem again. Oh! And boy howdy, do we have some fun game hacking action for you today. So in our addition to our Game Genie Hijinx series today, we're going to look at the Nintendo Entertainment System's classic shooting game that is Contra on the NES. I already said that. If you're in the European Union or in Australia like me, you might know it as Probotector with the robots and the flavin' and glavin', but we're going to be looking at the classic US version today, which is just the vanilla Contra. So if at any point in time you do enjoy the video, make sure you smash a thumbs up on this bad boy, share it with your friends, subscribe with notifications on, maybe make a comment, let me know what game you want to see soon or something, and with that, on with the show! So easing into our awesome list of cheat codes, we have SLTIYG, which enables you to become invincible. Never has the game been easier than with this Game Genie code in place, as enemies and even tanks don't fire at you, and you can run through them like it's nothing. The only problem is those damn pits, which will still take one of your sweet rests. Other than that, you won't have any problems and you just have to cruise through the game. You can counter the problem of pits a little bit though, by using a couple of different codes. The first is SLAIUZ, which will give you infinite lives. This means you can fall down those pits all you want. Or if you aren't using the invincibility cheat, you can get shot or walk into as many enemies as you want. But it's still annoying to die because you lose your powered up gun, right? Well, add in this epic cheat code, GXIIUX, and you'll be able to even keep your weapons and power-ups after you die. Now this is a combo worth trying, as you'll be blasting your way through Contra before you know it. Another way to achieve infinite lives is a strange cheat code, NYAIUZ. With this in play, every time you die you actually gain a life. The maximum rest the game will show is 4, however it keeps on building up even though you can't see them extra lives. It's a bit of a strange way to go about playing the game, but heck, it all helps. If you want to add a bit of weirdness to the game, then why not try the Game Genie code KONTAA. Not only does it sound a bit like the game's name, it also gives you less regular enemies to attack, which makes it a bit easier. It also seems to mess up the level's platforms a bit, meaning you can stand and walk in places where you wouldn't normally be able to. Unfortunately, this is a little bit glitchy and unreliable, and you never know when that invisible platform will disappear, if that makes sense. It's an interesting cheat code to try though. The Game Genie code AEIIXX is pretty hilarious, and also somewhat effective. Basically, once you die, your bullets turn into sprites of yourself and just about surround the entire screen. Never have you seen Contra shooting himself at enemies in a wild frenzy of fun. The almost strangest part of this code is that it's a bit difficult to shoot in a straight line because your bullets, that is to say your sprites, appear quite randomly around the screen. Once you pick up another power-up, you do revert to that said power-up, which just seems boring after shooting yourself at enemies. If you want to try another weird gun after dying, then the code TEIIXZ might be up your alley. However, this one is nowhere near as effective as the previous code. This gun shoots bubbles or something in a weird upwards diagonal fashion that you can't just point. This really hinders you as you can't shoot downwards or even frontwards without a little bit of luck. This even goes crazier at certain points where the baddies will spawn massively and attack without any conscience. Look at this mess. Give it a try, but I don't think you'll get very far. If you like messing up the opening title screen, you may be interested in the codes POIPIP, which changes the colours and scrambles the screen a bit, or the Game Genie code SKILLX, which does all kinds of wacky things to the start screen. Not much else to say about these other than they're a little bit of fun. The wacky cheat code LUGKIS is definitely one for the books. When you are using this code, each level roughly lasts for 5 seconds. So how does this work? Well, it seems that after you attack an enemy, then wait around 5 seconds, you just move on to the next level. In the first stage I even died as I was passing the level. This is pretty hilarious as you just pass the level at random times, meaning you either stop in place, jump a bit, or just walk to the side. You can still die of course, but a continue here and there never hurt anyone, did it? So if you want to see the wonders of this game 5 seconds at a time, then this is the cheat for you. Do you love the Atari system? If you do, you will love the code NNNAAA, which is actually called Atari Mode Contra. And when you jump into the game you can see why. Sure, it is a little bit of a garbled mess, but it is actually playable and maybe even easier to see the enemy fire. Look at this glorious mess, what a wonder. I managed to get to the end of level 1, but died pretty quickly on the boss, probably because it wasn't Atari-arized, as I would have liked. Oh well, fun cheat, and it also messes up the music of the game. If you enjoy broken graphics, then the next code, PPPETX, may also be up your alley. This one isn't quite as intense as Atari mode, but explosions are quite fantastic and the overall theme of the jungle is pretty broken. However, for those of you that love the Game Boy, don't worry, we have a 2-line code to cover you as well. If you enter these 2-line codes into your Game Genie, then the game will now appear black and white. Even the intro screen is that classic grey and white screen that we all loved to see as kids. The gameplay remains the same and it is easily playable when compared to the 2 previous graphic cheats. It's nice and crisp and clean, yeah boy. Or rather, yeah Game Boy? Oh man, that's terrible. Another awesome and also appropriately named Game Genie code for Contra is Contact, which will hit any enemy on the screen no matter where you are aiming. It's like an aimbot but in Contra form. As you can see from my playthrough, I just held diagonal up and right and just kept shooting and running, and just obliterated anything and everything on the screen. It even works in the in-between levels where you are in corridors, which adds an extra special sauce into this tasty mix of a code. If you want even more fun, then there are 2 codes that you can combine to make proper mayhem. The first is Contra, which will kill any enemy or boss with only 1 shot, and the second is GITTEO, which gives you an extra life for killing almost any enemy. Now this is proper carnage. This works awesomely in the base levels as well, however you can't one-hit the first or second boss in these areas. However, you will still get 1-ups from hitting it each time, if you have the GITTEO code enabled, so you can't really lose. The hilariously named code that is Potsit is pretty weird. Basically, whenever you hit the jump button, you actually fall down a platform. This just about makes the game unplayable, but it is interesting when you're at the bottom platform, even in the water, when you hit jump, you fall to your doom. Not the most handy code, but still a funny name. A similarly named code, that is Ponsit, does strange things when you are running. For one, you are always in a running animation, even when you are standing still. Maybe this Contra man wants to pump his quads or something, because he can't stop moving. Speaking of moving, you can't go left either, meaning if you want to move backwards in the stage, you have to jump first and then move to the left. It's a bit of a useless / hindering code, but just seeing those legs fly gives me a good feeling. Maybe I too could run like the wind one day. And finally, the Game Genie code TAZSST is super strange. It turns the first level completely black and you seem to be riding on some kind of mech or something. There isn't much to this level though, except one enemy does appear and also an item box, but there seems to be some kind of giant hole that is impossible to jump over. One time I seemed to turn into a party hat of some sorts, whilst I was in what I think was water. The power up box when shot doesn't seem to be any kind of power up that I know of, not that I could get it anyway. Strange code, man. Anyway, that's it for today, my friends. I really hope you enjoyed hacking Contra on the NES with me. If you did, then please be sure to hit that like button to help me out. Share it with your friends, make a comment maybe about another game you'd like to see hacked, or reviewed, or whatever. And of course, subscribe with notifications on. And if you really like the mayhem and what I do here, then please consider taking a look below at our join button or our Patreon page. Every bit of support is much appreciated and goes towards future videos. And with all that said, I'll catch you soon.